I am so excited to share with you day 4 of the Declutter for Christmas 5-day challenge. If you're joining me live for this, feel free to chat in the comment. Just pop into the live chat if you want any questions. As I go through today, we're going to talk about purging. And if you have any particular questions, like I said, put them in the chat. And then at the end of the video, we can take some time and chat together live. So hello, my name is Tara, Christian wife, homeschool mom of 10, almost 11 children. Like the title said, we're doing the Declutter for Christmas 5-day challenge. If you're catching this like later in the week before Friday at midnight, like Cinderella style, the giveaway is still happening in the group. You could win my Big Family Moms 2-in-1 bundle, which brings together home organization of like your routines to get into a good flow, and also how to organize your home. Declutter is just a part of that. I'm going to talk about it today. So if you'd like to be able to get into the giveaway for that, all you got to do is join the group. So if you're already in the group, great. Otherwise, there's a link in the description of today, and then participate in the giveaway. Super simple. Just comment on today's video, not a like, comment. And on this afternoon, about 1 o'clock Eastern Standard, there will be an action item post to help you actually do the purge so you can actually declutter for Christmas and any time of the year, quite frankly. But let's keep it for Christmas as it's coming at you in 5 weeks. Some of you know I'm having a baby. Baby number 11 is coming on December 20th with my 10th C-section. So I am in really like hormonal nesting mode right now. Plus, I happen to be very organized, and I'm happy to share from that skill set to help you, because I know it's not something everybody's born with. We're not all prepared and trained for motherhood and how to run big family homes where the kids outnumber the parents. So I'm going to help you with this. Let's get into it. So here's my notes. Okay, so I'm going to start by telling you, a couple years ago, my dear sister had her second child, and she also went through cancer treatment shortly after that. It was a whole other story. She was 29 years old and suddenly was dealing with cancer. So she was given a ton of stuff during that time. People in our community, our family were super generous. They were giving her like diapers and clothes for the kids, baby clothes, just, everybody rallied around her to help her go through that. And she did recover mercifully. And it was a crisis. We made it through by the grace of God. At the end of it, though, she's, recovering now because the chemo is over, but her basement was crammed full of all that stuff because it just kept coming in. They didn't really know what to do with it all. So they just kind of shoved it all in the basement. They just had like a split level, semi-detached home. So the basement was absolutely crammed with stuff. She was so overwhelmed. She called me almost crying and was like, "This is a really big ask, big sister. Please could you come and help me sort through all of this stuff?" Like, this wasn't just a declutter. Is there a word for that? This was just, there was so much. It was beautiful, and it was also insane at the same time. So I also had a newborn at the time, but I knew this was a skill set of mine, and that, we'd walk through this cancer together. Of course, I would do it for my sister, and we lived in the same community, so it was easy to pop over. So, just found a day when my husband was home, and I was like, I'm going to my sister's for a couple of hours, bringing the baby, nursing, everything's included. So off I went to help her. And I came to her house with 2 things that my sister didn't have. I had zero emotional attachment to anything in that basement, like none. And I had a simple purge strategy that she did not yet have, and I'm going to share with you right now. So when it comes to purging, it's a very simple system. It's only got 4 receptacles, like 4 things that you're really going to need to put things in its place. This is what I did in her basement. This is what I did last weekend with my 5, 7, and 11-year-olds. Simple strategies. You need 4 things. You've got your notebook. You write this down. You need a garbage. Anything can act like a garbage. It can be official garbage. It can be a laundry basket. It's just where the garbage is going to go. You're going to need a give box where you're like, I am not keeping this, but it's not really garbage. Like, I just want to give it away. Maybe you want to give it away to someone very specific, like a gift, or maybe you want to give it to, the local charity, Value Village, whatever it looks like in your community. So that's your bin number 2. Garbage, give a recycle bin, because hey, let's all recycle, paper, plastic, whatever. And last is your keepers. your bin for keeping. And again, this could just be a simple laundry basket or a cardboard box. Doesn't need to be fancy, just needs to work. I suggest a receptacle, like a container, rather than just a pile, because those piles can get surprisingly large. And then you just have stuff cluttering everywhere. If you get interrupted in your purge process, which happens when you have little children, then you don't want to have a mess and you come in and somebody just stirred it up like a tornado and you're like, oh my gosh, it's happened. So once you've got your 4 things set up, I did this with my 5, 7, and 11-year-old. I just put these bins on the floor. They weren't fancy, but they worked. I just cheerfully said, here's how we're going to do it. And this is what I did at my sister's. One thing at a time. My kids have these stuff bins that we keep, little drawers, or it's like a little bin where they can literally cram all their stuff, their coloring pages, their little doodads, their stuff. Someone keeps texting me. It's my sister. So this is what we did. We just went through it one at a time. Now I did supervise because sometimes their judgment can be a little bit poor. They're emotionally attached to things that I'm not attached to. And I'm like, honey, that is garbage. Like broken pieces of crayon and stuff. So once they got into it and they started to wrap their little minds around the 4 things, it kind of turned into a bit of a game. And if you can look at it that way, rather than just making it all emotional, it's a lot easier to put things in kind of the bin you wish it to go in. So once they went through their bins once, and I went through my sister's basement once like this, it was just like chuck, 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 chuck. I just went through it very unemotionally. And I realized, when it's your stuff, not your kid's stuff or your sister's stuff, there is emotion. So if you're feeling a tug in your heart, put it in the keeper bin. Even if you're like, I've kept this for 5 years and I shouldn't be keeping it, put it in your bin. We'll come back to it later. So round 1, sort through everything. Put it in one of the 4 bins until the space in your house or the drawer you're going through, whatever it is you're purging, whatever you're decluttering, till it's empty. Vacuum it out if you need to, because there's usually crumbs at the bottom of a drawer or whatever. And then put away the garbage, put away the recycling, put away the giveaway box, deal with that later. And all that you're left with is your keepers. And you could do round 2 at that point, where you just go through this one with a little more clarity, because it's already like step 1. You've already made such good progress. Now you can go through your bin of keepers and decide, am I really going to keep this stuff? And what helps me is just ask myself a couple questions, kind of like be your own best friend and say, have I used this in 2 years? That's one question. It can be helpful, right? It can help you just sort of discern keep or not. Another question to ask is this really important to me to keep? Like emotionally important. Listen, it could be a picture your kid made with macaroni and glitter when they were 2 years old and you still want to keep it. And that's okay. It means something to you. If it brings you joy, keep it. I mean, nobody's judging you, right? Like who is this accuser telling you can't keep macaroni glitter pictures? That's so silly. Who says? You decided this is important to you and where you will keep it in your home. That's it, right? There's no inspector coming in. I'm not coming in and judging you. And here's another thing. If you're like, I haven't used it in 2 years, it's not like it brings me a lot of joy. I'm just not ready. Okay, I've done that. I've kept things for like 5 years because I'm thinking I probably will use it. I'm just not ready emotionally or physically to let go. So I'm like, well, I'll come back in a year or 2 when I do another big purge pre-Christmas and I'll come back to it again. Sometimes it's easier the next time, the next year, 2 years. Then you're just like, you really have more perspective. You've grown and it's easier then to let it go. So that is my very simple purge process. It works with kids. It works with adults. It works with sisters who are overwhelmed and call you in for help. This is what I did in my sister's basement. It was beautiful. And I'll tell you how the story ends in a second. But real quick, if what I'm sharing this week, what I even shared today, you're like, oh, Tara, you make it sound so simple. I just don't really have structure in my life to even begin decluttering. Like when even in the day or the week or the month am I going to fit that in between now and Christmas? I completely understand because like I said, you're a big family mom, the kids outnumber the parents. It can be overwhelming, especially if you're homeschooling and they're little and you maybe gone through a health crisis like my sister did or some other, family drama. It happens and everything feels chaotic. I've put together a special 2-in-1 bundle that is the giveaway this week, but only one person's going to win that. If you want it right now, you're like, I'm not going to wait for take my chances. I need this now. The link is in today's description. You can grab it. It's on for a ridiculous sale because I really want to come alongside you and help you, encourage you graciously, give you support and very practical things you can do one step at a time. You don't have to do it all once, but just to begin to get a routine and then you can begin to get your home more in order. One step at a time, move at your own pace, because you've got life, you've got kids, you've got setbacks. I get it. The course is there to help you. And the bundle, like this is it. This is me giving all that I've got to give. And bonus, once you purchase the course, you also get to be in an exclusive private members only Facebook group where you get to interact with me one-on-one, ask me any questions about the course, and I will walk alongside you. We're going to get your life more in order and your home more in order in a low stress, fun, gracious way. So there's that. So my sister, the end of the story. Like I said, I had a nursing baby at the time, just a couple months younger than hers. So I just took breaks to nurse the baby, and the baby slept otherwise because it was my sweet little 11-year-old who's over there doing math right now. And he just, he was an easy baby, thank God. So I was able to do it. I went in, like I said, I had a plan, I had a goal. I wasn't emotionally attached to her things. The thing was, my sister was absolutely amazed at what I was able to accomplish in about, I'm gonna say 4 hours, because she had been haunted, literally haunted by this basement for months. It was overwhelming to her. It was keeping her up at night. She was literally like getting stress in her body thinking about that basement. She didn't believe it could be done. She she thought it was going to take weeks because it took months to pile up, and she'd been putting it off for quite some time. Understandably, right? Post-cancer, hello, a little bit of grace. But she didn't realize what it could happen in a couple of hours with somebody who had a simple purge plan and just the will to do it. So she's like, I can't believe you got that done in a day. And I was like, yeah. I felt so good helping my sister, right, in such a practical way, and showing her this is completely possible. Once you've decided what to do, where to do it, like we talked about on day 1, day 2, and day 3. Now we're in day 4. You absolutely can purge. So you've already got your goal that we set up on day 2 of where you're going to go. On day 3, we talked about how to break it down to steps. Now you've got the purge strategy. So go ahead and comment below whether you want to be in the giveaway or not, of just how you're going to tackle this. If purging is part of your declutter process, probably is. You will probably be able to do this faster than you thought. I remember Carolyn, she participated in a Get Your House in Order challenge that I did just back in July. She had this pile of medical bills and she thought, oh my, she'd be putting off for months. She's like, I don't know, it's just so big. But when I shared with her this purge strategy, just like in a live, like I'm doing like this, a challenge, she just finally kind of was like, I'm doing it, Tara. Give me courage. You've given me a strategy. And she did it. She sat down with all these papers. And next thing you know, it was decluttered. And she felt this huge weight come off of her. And she told me just last week when we were having a chat, oh my goodness, like I'm so glad I did it. The longer I put it off and built it up in my mind, it was so worse. It was so scary. It was so overwhelming. But when she put the purge strategy I shared with you today into practice, simplified everything. And then she was dealing with reality rather than the fear of what, you build it up in your head, right? We all do it. So this works. It will help you. I'm excited for you. Let me know in the comments below how you're going to do it. And I see there are some people live here, whether you want to chat or not, like no pressure. But feel free, if you have any questions or you just want to say hi, I'm going to open up my little chat thingamabobber and say hi real quick if you want to. Hey, Bo. This was the baby who was sleeping through the massive purge at my sister's house. And here we go. All right. Well, no questions today. That's totally fine. I'll be popping in the group throughout the day to say hi, to see your comments. So let me know if you have any questions. The course is there to help you if you want to grab it right now. Otherwise, my time is up. I'm going to pop out. God bless you. Happy purging. And I'll see you tomorrow for the very last day of our 5-day challenge.